Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the RebornFootball podcast. This is episode 19. I'm Tans and I'm here with
Fuego.
And as usual, we're going to get into the verse of the episode. So I'll let Fuego take it away with today's verse.
Yeah, so today's verse or verses of the episode are 1 Corinthians chapter 3, verses 18 and 19. And I'm reading the New Living Translation. It says, "Stop deceiving yourselves. If you think you are wise by this world's standards, you need to become a fool to be truly wise. For the wisdom of this world is foolishness to God. As the scriptures say, He traps the wise in the snare of their own cleverness."
This is in my notes from quite a while back. I don't even know when I first read this verse, but it just sprang to mind thinking for this episode, and I feel like there's a really important lesson to be learned from here. It's not crazy, like, it's not like you have to dive too deep into the meaning. The meaning is quite there. It's more like, there's examples from the Bible that we can use. So essentially, today's, the worldly wisdom, we should be aiming not to have worldly wisdom. A verse that we can use to supplement this is Proverbs 3 verse 5, which is, trust in the Lord your God and lean not on your own understanding. In that context, our own understanding would be worldly wisdom, because we're only human. If we don't consult God, then we're working off worldly wisdom. A couple of examples of this are, for example, the world. The thing is that we actually have to be very careful, because some of the worldly wisdom at surface level seems quite harmless. But then when you get really spiritual, you see that, it's not the right advice to be following. For example, the world will tell you, anyone will tell you, follow your heart, do what you want to do, follow what you want to follow. But as Christians, we know, or we should know, that, we should not follow our heart, because the heart is desperately wicked. I don't know what verse that is exactly, but I know that's a quote. That the heart is desperately wicked, and that we should be not wanting to do what we want to do, but we should be aiming to ensure that what we want to do aligns with God's will. Yeah. And then another example would be, in life sometimes, people might say, treat people as they treat you. Or, maybe if someone does you bad, then you do them bad. Or if someone does you good, then you do them good. But biblical wisdom is that, especially New Testament wisdom, is that no matter how people behave towards you, you continue to shine a light. You continue to be positive towards them. I think it's pray for your enemies. I don't know what verse that is, but pray for your enemies and bless those that persecute you. So, that goes against worldly wisdom, because, in our human minds, how does it make sense to pray for your enemies or bless those that persecute you? But, those are the type of behaviors that would allow us to stand apart from, those that are not following Christ.
Yeah, I totally agree. Another example that I would give of this, you'll hear kind of the woke young Gen Z people. I don't even know. Are we even Gen Z?
We are Gen Z.
I don't like to claim it. I won't like, because it's a bit weird. It's a bit weird, especially when I hear people saying they were born in 2009 or 2010. It's just weird to me. It makes me feel old. But they'll say things like, tell your truth. I'm kind of confused as to what people would kind of describe as their truth. But the point is, Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life, right? So your truth doesn't exist, where this is who I am, this is that, whatever. We don't want to go into like finicky details of that. But I know one of my youth leaders will always give that example, and it's so funny the way that he says it. But it's so true. Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. There's no other truth but Jesus. And therefore, the phrase, tell your truth or speak your truth, is completely void, literally just by that one verse in the Bible. I think this verse also speaks to us that on the flip side, the things that we believe are wise, obviously, are foolish to God. But then on the flip side, God can use the things that people think are inconsequential, even foolish, dare anyone say, to kind of show up the wisdom of the world. Basically, he can use the simple things, like for example, he can use a child with a very simple concept to teach an adult with so many years of life experience something that will truly impact them and change their lives. Meanwhile, it's somebody who you would describe as inexperienced, somebody who you would describe in terms of life experience as foolish, not knowing too much, can actually teach someone who is a lot older and wiser than them something that they may never have actually understood before. So that's an example of the flip side of that verse.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I'm just for a moment, because I don't want to, just be saying verses without, actually saying the verse. The one I mentioned, Matthew 5, verse 44. But I say to you, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you. Now, just on what you said, I didn't even think about it in that perspective. That like. Even the level of forgiveness that God actually provides to us goes against conventional, goes against human wisdom. It's why that even us as Christians sometimes, because even though we're Christian, we're still human. We can really struggle with the level of grace that God gives us, because it doesn't make sense. In some ways, it's kind of, by human standards, it's kind of foolish.
That why would you keep giving somebody a second chance when you know they're going to do the exact same thing over and over again?
Or using people that people that aren't perfect. We're all not perfect, but people that aren't perfect in human eyes. For example, someone that went to jail, or someone that did this, someone that did that. Using those type of people to preach the gospel, to show that it's not about what we think of each other. It's about us all being, made equal in Christ. Yeah. So, it's really important. I mean, of course, don't just want to mention it again that we're all human. It's so hard to really get into that, mode where you think in a godly way, think in that godly wisdom. But, it's important to try and just not let the wisdom of the world fool you, because as it says in the original verse, it can deceive you as well. Worldly wisdom can deceive you, especially going back to that first one about follow your heart. Because just because it's your heart doesn't mean that it's the right thing for you, because our heartly desires, our humanly desires are often, not what's best for us.
Yeah, I agree with you there. It's an interesting way to look at it. I think we'll head into football for today, or this episode rather. A few different topics to kind of talk about today. I think I'll let you start.
So just before we head, because obviously we're talking about the Euros now. Euros is going on, but just before we discuss the Euros, I was thinking I think it was I don't know if it was a YouTube video. Yeah, I think I seen a YouTube video from this basketball account talking about the matches that he missed, the matches that he didn't watch live. And it gave me an idea. I was like, yeah, why don't we talk about, matches that, like serious matches that we didn't watch live, we're busy, life, sometimes life takes you away. So I think I'll start with the first match that I can't believe I missed. So just to give a bit of context, once again, if you don't know by now, support Arsenal. And when I started watching football, which was like 2010, 2011, Arsenal hadn't won a trophy since 2005. So we get to 2014, we still haven't won a trophy. So it's a 9-year trophy drought that Arsenal were going through at that time. And then we make the FA Cup final in 2014, and we win the FA Cup, break our trophy drought. But because of something busy I had going on with family that day, I did not watch that game. Literally the first trophy that I was able to see as an Arsenal fan, as watching football for my team. I didn't watch that game. So yeah, that's one I regret not watching.
This is kind of a slightly more difficult topic for me to kind of get into more because not because I watch a chronic amount of football. I would say maybe lockdown and post-lockdown up until maybe the start of last year, I watched a lot of football. So every single City match, I was there. And then when I was just bored at uni, I'm watching literally any match. I was watching Europa League in my uni room for no apparent reason, literally because of nothing to do. So I wouldn't be able to say there's many matches like that I would have missed. Although, kind of periods, I think the 2018 World Cup was probably my worst watched football tournament. And I'm not 100% sure why. I don't think I watched the final of that. I kind of was following it, watching a few matches here and there, but then for whatever reason, just not watching the major ones. And I'm even trying to think of what was that period of our lives. We were like
14?
2018 is really like 14, okay.
Yeah.
So that's like, what, second year, third year?
Yeah, second. Would have just finished second year. World Cup time would have just finished second year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit weird. I don't know why that was the case. But for me, I think I try to make it a habit to do quite well in terms of watching City games. It's like those ones where you know you're going to win, or the ones where you check it and you're like, oh, we're like 1-0 down or 2-0 down. Cool, I'm not going to watch this anymore. Like if I was thinking of tuning in later or whatever. So generally, I'd be there to see all of our heartbreak moments. So like obviously Real Madrid this year, I watched the whole of that match. I had work the next day. I was not happy.
That's so real. That's so real. You know when you have school the next day, or you have work, you sacrifice, bro. You know these days now have gym and things that you're doing. You leave college early. You plan your whole day. You don't go to the gym. You set your whole day to watch this game. And even worse, if it's a cup competition, imagine you watch the whole thing extra time just to lose. Oh. Bro, you know, it reminds me, you know, even pivoting slightly, I think the most embarrassing, it came up because there's this Arsenal TikTok channel that's been showing highlights of like all Wenger's games. The most embarrassed I've ever been as an Arsenal fan. Trust me, being an Arsenal fan last decade, there's plenty, you know, there's plenty of options. There's plenty of options, you know, there's a lot of options. But I think the most embarrassed, the most shocked I've ever been was in 2012, the League Cup, we lost to Bradford City. At the time, Bradford City were in League 2 and we were in the Premier League. And it was, how was it? I watched the penalty show. It went to penalties, right? We missed our first two. Bradford scored their first two. 2-0 Bradford. Then we come back, right? We come back and then it's 3-2 after 4 penalties each. So Bradford have their final penalty to win it. They miss it. So then it's Vermaelen to step up now to keep us in the League Cup, and he hits the post. I couldn't believe it because I remember I was quite young, but I already knew the pecking order in football. I couldn't believe that we were losing to Bradford. I was just staring at my TV. I was like pure disbelief, like pure shock. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah, no, it definitely gets like that when it's a lower league team. Like I think the closest that we've had for like City, this would probably have happened. This happened maybe must have been 3 years into my tenure as a City fan. I think it was the 20. I just want to make sure I'm reading this properly. The 2012 to 13 season. So the season after we won the first Premier League, we were in the FA Cup final against Wigan.
Oh yeah.
So the funny thing about this is that I think City must have finished maybe second or third in the league that season.
Second.
And Wigan had been relegated. So it's like
it's
the second team in English top flight versus the 20th team in English top flight who have been relegated.
You know what it was, yeah. Wigan won that game, right?
Yeah.
And then we relegated them 3 days later. We smashed them 4-1 and then they got relegated.
So it was like, okay, they've won the FA Cup, they're trying to stay up, blah blah blah. That's not our problem, right? It's just it's going to look weird for a team that has won the FA Cup, got relegated, playing Europa League next year at your expense, and it's kind of like you're just there. You can't really do anything about it. And it wasn't even like, it wasn't an eventful match or anything. I remember watching it. I don't remember too much about it. That's to tell you how eventful it was. I think it ended up being 1-0 Wigan at the very end. At the very, very end. And it's kind of like, it's one of those ones where you're too stunned to speak. It's like, okay, it's Wigan, but okay. Similar enough to, well, maybe not similar enough. Let me give United a little bit of credit. But that FA Cup final just gone there where United, what was the score? I think it was 2-1.
Yeah.
It's just, that one is kind of more annoyance than anything because it's your city rivals. You don't get the chance to claim bragging rights back for 3 months. Now they have bragging rights for the whole summer. But Community Shield's coming soon, so thank God. But yeah, that Wigan match was definitely one that was like Wigan came, I think, they still had to do their Europa League qualifiers, which they got through.
In the championship.
But then, that is so weird because if you think about it, Europa League qualifiers start when the championship starts.
You know, that happened to at our expense as well. You know, when we lost the League Cup final to Birmingham, they played Europa League the season after, while they were in the championship. Like, they got relegated.
I don't think that's not common, like, at all.
Yeah, that's very uncommon. It's crazy.
It's weird to see teams doing that badly in the league doing so well in a cup competition.
Isn't it crazy? Imagine Europa League midweek, then you got to travel to what? Like Bristol City at the weekend championship.
And more time, the way that their matches would be rescheduled like crazy because they've got what? Is it not?
It's 46 games in the championship.
Yeah, and most of the time their schedule is a Premier League, Champions League team schedule where you're Sunday, Wednesday, Saturday, or Sunday, Tuesday, Saturday, and then rinse and repeat. And that's just league matches. Not to talk of, okay, most of the time they go out in the group stage, so they'd only play, 3 matches? Sorry, not 3, 6 matches.
Yeah, and then, what's it called? They have to play League Cup because, they start League Cup around earlier because... they're not in the Premier. I think even some teams in the Premier League even start the League Cup
like round 3 or round 4.
I think if some teams in the Premier League they'll start round 2. I think it's if you don't qualify for Europe. Because I remember I remember when we didn't qualify for Europe. I remember we had to do round 2 of the League Cup.
Was that in August though?
Yeah, it was in August.
Because I remember I think it was the last year or the year. I think it was last season was Chelsea's first season. Doing round 2 of the FA Cup.
League Cup.
Sorry, League Cup. You're correct.
Yeah. But another game that springs to mind is, I'm pretty sure every Nigerian can relate. When we lost to Argentina in 2018, when Rojo scored the last minute winner after Igalo missed that crazy chance to put us 2-1 up. And I remember all we needed was a draw to get to the next round. And we, especially because we always play Argentina in the World Cup, and we always lose to Argentina at the World Cup.
And more time, it was even one of those ones where absolutely nothing could go wrong. Like, okay, Ahmed Musa and Messi were going machine for machine. We saw that, right? But it did not look like Argentina had, like, it didn't look like there was a massive golfing class where Argentina are going to dust these guys. Okay, they scored a few goals, but they're going to dust these guys. It wasn't like that, you know what I mean? That Nigeria actually had a chance to win. And then
it's always been competitive. I think 2014 was when Musa scored 2, Messi scored 2. 2018,
okay, so I'm thinking of the wrong.
But 2018, though, Musa was going crazy at the World Cup. I think he scored 2 against Iceland. I think Musa's our highest World Cup goal scorer, no? He must be. That's 4.
That man has looked 32 for the past 8 years. I don't even understand why he was at AFCON.
To be honest, though, I would have loved it if we can, like just the ceremonial, lifting the trophy, because like he has been a great servant to Nigeria.
100%, yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what other matches would have kind of looked like that.
See, you wouldn't have that many, like you're spoiled.
No, I think it's that we don't have many high stakes ones. Well, I guess in the past few years, okay, we do have high stakes ones. What am I talking about? Champions League final against Chelsea. That was a stupid goal to concede, and it was the only thing that Chelsea did in the whole match. Pep decided to overthink and play 3 pretty no defensive.
I remember he didn't play Fernandinho. Or he didn't play Rodri?
He dropped Fernandinho.
Okay.
That's what it was. Then obviously
The Real Madrid
season after that was the Real Madrid one. I think this was Joselu number 9. I don't think he was. No, this Real Madrid striker in the Champions League thing needs to be studied, because Joselu came out of nowhere and it's like, why are Real Madrid signing this guy? And then you saw what he did in the semi-final.
For Bayern.
You saw what he did to Bayern in the semi-final. That made no sense. How can a man score a brace in 2 minutes?
Joselu that used to play for Stoke. You know, there's one Stoke team that has like 1 million Champions League winners. Like I think it's the 2015 team or something like that. I think Arnautovic, Afellay, Bojan.
Yeah, Bojan.
Didn't even Shaqiri.
Yeah, Shaqiri played for them as well.
Didn't Choupo-Moting.
How that guy got moved to Bayern makes no sense to me.
Man, failing upwards, I guess, man.
You know, some certain people. I think there was a TikTok I was watching the other day about people transfers you forgot ever happened. I think it was. I might be very wrong. I don't know if it was John McKell or it was somebody else. One black player, that played for Stoke, and I was like, when did this guy play for Stoke? I'll have a look and see if I can find it.
Did he play for Stoke?
No, there's one black guy that played for Stoke. Let me see if there's a Nigerian that played for Stoke. I might be wrong.
Is it not Victor Moses? Victor Moses played for Stoke.
Victor Moses played for everyone, bro.
Man, Victor.
The guy played for Chelsea and Liverpool.
And Stoke and West Ham, I'm pretty sure. I would like Victor Moses was a servant, man, for real. Another servant to the Nigerian team. But yeah, no, that Stoke team was interesting. That's probably a team we can talk about in a different episode.
It's Stoke. Yeah, Victor Moses.
Victor Moses.
The guy's only 33, you know. Apparently he plays for Spartak Moscow.
That's a conversation for another day about, you know, our Nigerian
never
players.
Mind. He's 33.
That's for another day. That might also be for another genre of podcast.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But he's one of those ones that I don't think he's far off that age. Though.
Yeah, no, yeah. It's just, you know.
It's what's his name? The guy played for Stoke as well. He moved to Stoke after the 2018 World Cup, I think. The midfielder. Can't remember his name.
Oh, Etebo.
Yes.
Yeah.
That boy is not. when they said he was 28 that time, I was like, yeah, no, long, but yeah, okay, let's not dwell on that.
I think we're lock into the Euros now. So obviously, big Jude got England through. So wait, going back on our predictions, I remember we predicted Switzerland to win. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I don't even remember what my predictions were. Like all my predictions.
Let me read it. I'll read the matches and I'll be able to tell you. Okay.
We predicted Switzerland to win.
We predicted Switzerland. We predicted Germany.
We predicted Spain. I predicted I predicted England.
Yeah. To be fair, it was close at the end of the day.
Who else?
France, Belgium.
I predicted France.
Yes.
We predicted France.
Portugal.
We predicted Portugal.
Netherlands. I was saying that Romania could do. They didn't do anything.
I'm pretty sure I predicted Netherlands. Yeah.
And then we were just like Austria, Turkey was
50-50. Turkey pulled through in the end.
I think that's like what 80% record. It's not bad. Like.
Yeah, I mean decent. I mean, to be fair, there was some in terms of like favorites. There was some pretty lopsided. Yeah, but it's interesting to see that, you know, apart from Germany and Spain, I mean, there's not really crazy like entertaining football being played right now. Actually, on Spain, I said we were going to talk about these two wingers last episode. Yeah, Yamal and Nico Williams. Oh man, there's nothing I love more in football than a good wing pairing, man. You know, Robin and Ribéry, man. You know, back in the day, Duff and Robin at Chelsea. What's it called? Nani and Ronaldo at United. Mm-hmm. Nothing I love more than a good wing pairing. Bale and Ronaldo at Real Madrid. You know, good wing pairings honestly are so entertaining in football. And I mean, Yamal at 16, the level of talent that he already has, you know, the way he can slow the game down, the way he can quicken it up, his decision making is so top level for such a young player.
Yeah, no, definitely.
His decision making is tops, and then obviously Nico Williams he's lightning. absolute lightning. I seen the finish he had the other day against Georgia. I mean, just, skip past his defender and just whacked it, into the top corner. And it's like, these two wingers are, there's a lot of complaining that the wingers aren't taking on their man anymore. The wingers aren't, they aren't exciting anymore. But these guys,
they're showing us what we want to see.
They're showing us what we want to see
100%.
every single game. And I mean, of course, it's great to see two black players, excelling for Spain. Spain are not not quite where France and, England have been, in terms of that level. But yeah. Do you think they'll beat Germany?
I don't know. What I will keep saying until this competition is over: Spain, Germany, France, Portugal. Whoever comes from that side of the bracket to the final is winning the competition. England are not winning dust. But Spain, Germany, it's hard to call. It's one of those ones you literally just need to sit there for the whole match and just see what happens.
To just take it in. I don't know. I was discussing it with my colleague at work the other day. Like, thinking Germany might just have it, because Germany have a mentality of winning that kind of like goes through the different generations. And then obviously they do have a level of talent as well, but they have their manager's Nagelsmann, right? Nagelsmann, yeah. They have a manager that that's willing to make big decisions. Like the other day against Denmark, he dropped what's his name, Wirtz.
I was confused at that, but yeah,
Wirtz is the I'm pretty sure Wirtz is the Bundesliga player of the year. He must have been best player on Leverkusen. He must have been the Bundesliga player of the year, and to make the decision to drop, for the benefit of the team. I mean, it worked. I mean, Denmark had their moments, but overall, Germany still did their thing. Another top quality goal from Musiala. I mean, Havertz doing his thing, making runs,
There's one touch he made.
That chance.
I want him to open his mouth and try and tell us that it was on purpose, because I know it was not on purpose.
I don't know. I looked at it.
It's one of those instinctive ones that the ball is coming. Let me just do a little something, and it worked.
Yeah. See, that's not. It's not exactly an accident. It's more like instinctive.
You're not thinking about it.
You're not. Yeah, and I mean that's when you play top level football, you're able to do those sort of things. And then obviously Spain as well. We got the two star wingers on in Spain. Then we got Rodri as well. I mean, arguably the best player in the world for the past year or so. I mean, any team with Rodri has a chance of winning the major tournament.
I'll tell you what about Spain, right? You remember that last group stage game where they just brought in a new 11, basically.
Yeah,
and still all of the B team got to play a match at the tournament. Jesus Navas came on towards the end of that Georgia match.
Yeah.
And, they were talking about how he's almost 40, he's a Sevilla legend and all of this stuff. And they're talking about how a player who relied on his speed for majority of his career is still at that level. And I was thinking to myself, I looked sideways at his inclusion in that 26-man squad, right? But I saw literally just one little passage of play near the end of that Georgia match, and I was like, this man has still got it. Like he did a quick link up with, I can't remember who came on for Yamal now, but he did a quick link up with the right winger after he took a corner, and he put a really good ball across the box. Nobody was there to pick it up, but I was like, this is 40-year-old Jesus Navas that played for City 10 years ago at the age of 28.
And one thing about these Spain players, especially from their golden generation, physically their bodies might let them down, but technically they never lose it. Never. They never lose it, Technically, Ramos, that 2010 Spain World Cup winning 11 could probably still give a team a game. If it was just about technical ability, the levels they still have. And I mean, it's translated into a pure footballing culture for Spain that they can all pass, and move. They can all their touch is impeccable from the wingers right down to the goalkeeper. It's Spain have arguably played the best football at this tournament. Germany up there, which is why this is probably the most looked forward to game of the tournament. But yeah, I mean, too close to call. I don't know if I want to pick a winner. I don't know. I'm leaning towards Germany, the only reason is because one thing about Spain is that, especially the past few years, since their golden generation actually like left, one thing about Spain is that adversity is not their thing. Also, penalty shootouts. If Spain, if this game goes to penalty shootouts, I'll be very scared for Spain. They don't know how to take penalties. Spain have gone out of the last 3 major tournaments on penalties. They lost on penalties, a 3-0 whitewash to Morocco on penalties at the last World Cup. The last Euros, they lost the semi-final on penalties to Italy 4-2. And then I can't remember what the score was when they lost to Russia at the 2018 World Cup, but they lost the penalties as well. I think that might have been 4-3. Can't remember. But, I mean, don't know. Spain better just pray it doesn't go to penalties.
I think moving on to the other quarterfinal in that bracket, France-Spain. Obviously,
Portugal.
France-Spain. Why am I saying Spain? France-Portugal. Thanks for that. France, obviously, very underwhelming. Still 0 goals from open play, all own goals or Kylian Mbappe's penalty.
One thing about them, though, the structure is still there. It's like they're just, I don't know what it is. It's not the same as England. Like, England are tactically all over the place. France are not tactically all over the place. They're making chances. They're being a bit wasteful, but then at times it's just a bit meh. Like, obviously.
I'm still waiting for it to click with them. I think that's what it is.
Yeah.
But when it clicks, France are pretty much unstoppable. That's the thing.
To be fair with France, even at the last World Cup, like, they weren't outstanding. They just had so much individual quality that got them through games. And I mean, when you have the likes of Mbappe, Griezmann, of course you have the great chance of winning any tournament. The last time that I watched France and I was like, this is the best team in the world, was actually the last Euros, but they got knocked out by Switzerland. At that time, I think it was Benzema came back, Pogba was still balling. The only player who actually didn't play well at that tournament was Mbappe. Everyone else was balling. Like, at that time, France were still quite clearly the best team in the world, But, man, France, I would call them favorites just because Portugal, I don't buy the Portugal hype. I haven't bought the Portugal hype in like 4 years. I'm going to have to see it to believe it with them. Like, they always have so much talent, but I don't know, like... Yeah, they're like, don't get me wrong, they are creating chances, they're doing their thing, but I still feel like they could be a bit better.
Yeah, they do need to be better. I think that Slovenia match, Slovenia set up excellently. Like, if they did not believe in themselves, they wouldn't have got through, because I don't think Portugal were taking it easy on them or they weren't attacking or whatever. They just couldn't get through. And that's going to be the difference between whether or not they win or lose a game. And at this kind of stage, you can't be relying on the other team not doing great for you to, you know what I mean? Because
two very resilient teams, though, France and Portugal.
100%.
It's the type of game that could go to penalties or could go all the way.
But then my thing is, you're either going to get a very eventful match or a very boring one between those two. So I'm not too sure about that one. On the other side of the bracket, we've got
England and Switzerland.
Switzerland will be interesting for the fact, as you said, tactically, England are a bit weird.
Tactically, they're quite poor. I think if you're looking talent-wise, England are definitely a step above Switzerland talent-wise. But the level. Is there an opposite of optimizing? Like, if there's an opposite word to optimizing, that's what Southgate is doing with these England players. Well, like minimizing. He's minimizing the talents of the England players, and it's making me feel like Switzerland could really do a job on them this weekend.
I have a feeling he may. The English media are actually so weird. I'm hearing talk of him going to a
the
3-back
at the back. I've seen that today as well.
Putting Konsa in the starting 11, which
it's Konsa he wants to put in.
Honestly, I wouldn't be complaining at seeing Konsa playing, but it's like, okay, you're dropping Gehi, right?
No, Gay, he's not dropped. He's suspended.
Oh, is he suspended?
Yeah, he's suspended for a quarter.
Okay, that's different. Okay. But, okay, so Konsa, Stones, Walker. Then maybe he'll bring Trent back in on the right and Trippier on the left. You're losing a midfielder.
No, he's using a winger more likely.
Because he'll still play something like a 5-2-3. I don't think he's going to put two up top because it's like, okay, will you really have Harry Kane and Ollie Watkins playing?
Okay, that's true. That's true. He's losing the midfielder.
But
he might put Saka at wing back though.
I don't want to see that, but that doesn't make sense to me.
Right wing back.
That doesn't make sense to me. I won't lie. Because okay, maybe if you're going to tell him you don't have defensive responsibilities to go up and down.
No, but it's more of a it would be more of a in possession, out possession thing. Because he kind of does that for Arsenal already in certain games. Like he's like Saka's basically in a lot of games. For example, I don't know. Did you watch when we played you guys at the Etihad?
I watched some of it. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, do you remember? Like Saka was basically a right wing back.
But my only
in defense, but then in attack, like he's a winger. It could be something like that.
I get what you're saying, but my only thing with that is that Saka is one of, if not England's most important attacker when it comes to when they're in possession. So if they're out of possession and he's there doing his win back job, and then you catch Switzerland in transition and he has to make that run up only for you guys to get turned and caught in a transition, he's going to be doing box to box on the wing.
You could say though that, I mean, Walker's a good backup to have on the side.
I don't know.
Like pace wise, I know Walker.
Yeah, okay.
Walker hasn't been the best, in possession at this tournament, but he can still cover ground. That's the thing. Tactically it could work, but I don't know. If I was Southgate, I'd stick with the 4 personally. Maybe bring in Gomez centre back, because
Southgate could be weird.
Very weird. But then Switzerland, obviously, I mean, Xhaka, are having another outstanding tournament.
Yeah.
Where Switzerland, Xhaka, I mean, what he's done with Leverkusen as well. I mean, say Switzerland get to the semi-finals, what's stopping Xhaka from getting a cheeky Ballon d'Or nomination?
100%. Like it will boost his power rankings. Like it definitely would. And that's another thing about this kind of tournament. Maybe when we look at the kind of like post Euros and post Copa America, we can kind of touch briefly on that. I'm looking at, after that Bellingham goal there, England might not even need to touch finals for Bellingham to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, because that Real Madrid juice goes crazy. I think even if neither of Vinny or Bellingham win their respective
they'll
tournaments,
definitely be top 2.
One of them will win the Ballon d'Or most likely.
Yeah,
So just moving on.
I think the last one is Netherlands.
Turkey and Netherlands. Yeah.
I don't even want to say that it's one and done, because you saw what Turkey did to Austria.
I think that's a 50-50. I think Netherlands, I didn't watch all of their game yesterday. They slapped up Romania 3-0.
Yes.
But Netherlands have talent. It's just that they don't always play up to their talent. I could see Netherlands. I think I'll predict Netherlands for this one.
Yeah. So we're looking at possibly England and the Netherlands in the semi-finals.
And then I'm leaning towards Germany, and I'm also leaning towards France. Germany, France.
That's leading up to a tough.
I don't even want to predict that Germany-Spain game, but I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to say Germany, especially that home advantage as well. So semi-finals, we'll just do a quick prediction of our predicted semi-finals. Again, this is like, I don't know what the exact maths is, but it's like 1 in 50 chance of any of us being right. But I mean, why not? So semi-finals would be Germany, France, England, Netherlands. I would... Germany, France, I don't know. I think France's quality would just be a bit too much for Germany. Just a little bit too much. I think it would be a close game. But I think the quality that France still have from top to bottom. I mean, Kante is still running all over the pitch. Good technically. They're good technically all over the pitch as well. Like, I mean, Saliba as well, been doing outstanding with us, Saliba and Upamecano. I think France just have a little bit too much quality for Germany. So I'm predicting France to win. As for England and Netherlands, I mean, even saying England gets to the semi-finals, I'm a bit unsure about that. But assuming they get to the semi-finals to go play the Netherlands, I would have to take England there.
In terms of those quarterfinals, I'm almost just going to go the opposite for you on the left side of the bracket. If Spain were to meet Portugal in the semi-final, I don't see anything stopping Portugal from beating Spain just for the fact that it's Portugal and Spain. But Portugal winning the Euros again, I don't see that happening. So, although I do still say that whoever does get through on that side of the bracket is going to win it regardless. Because
I think
I don't know. It's a difficult one to call.
I'm not. You know, that's what you said. Like that side of the bracket wins. I'm not convinced for Portugal.
If it's Portugal that do make it,
yeah, I'm not convinced.
If it's
if it's Germany, Spain, or France, but Portugal, I'm not convinced.
I don't think they have it in them anymore. That's what it is. But yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. I guess I'm going to go just wildly and say that Spain are going to win the competition. But obviously, we'll see what happens.
I think I'm gonna go for France. Again, seems I don't like going for the easy, but I mean we got to go off our football knowledge, what we see. 100%. So yeah, all right, yeah, I think that's all for today's episode. I think we wrap it up. I mean, if you made it this far, thank you for listening. Thank you for your support. Just a quick, if you made it here, just a quick. I don't want to say announcement, but just a heads up that we are working towards bringing up visuals soon. That will be, we're hoping to have that up for the start of the new football season, which will be in mid-August. So as you know, when we get that up, by God's grace, that will we'll have, you know, stuff on more stuff on Instagram.
TikTok,
we'll have a TikTok up as well. Then we'll be able to engage more on YouTube, etc., etc. But that's for another day. Thank you guys for the support and the love as always. All our social media will be in the bio or the bottom, the description of whatever you're watching this on. Thank you for your love and support, and I think I'll let Fuego take us out.
Yeah, again, thank you for the love and support. I'm not going to repeat everything he said so you guys don't get bored at the very end. But yeah, love, and we will see you guys in the next episode, which will be immediately after the Euros.